Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to this live session on the Virtual Days by Vives. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ramón and I'm going to be guiding you through this journey where we will explore our new collection of polished marble ceramic tile, which is called Marblelous. But just before we start, let me explain a little bit more about these Virtual Days for those of you who haven't heard of them before. So, you know, this year is being a little bit unusual because of the global pandemic, and it's been hard for us, the commercial team, to travel to you to show you our product, and also the fairs that we usually take part into at this time of the year have been cancelled. Therefore, we have decided to organize this week where we are going to show you the latest novelties, the latest market trends, and also it's a good chance for you to see our new showroom where we are into right now, which we finished building this year, but unfortunately, because of this situation, we haven't been able to receive many visitors. So it's a good chance for you from your houses to know a little bit more about Vives, who we are and what we do. Each of these days is going to be dedicated to a different theme. Yesterday was dedicated to Italy, to the past fairs in Italy. Today we're dedicating it to the Polish marble collection, but tomorrow we will be showing our new extraordinary wood collection. Thursday will be time for the pop tile collection, both of these days also with a live session with one of our colleagues. And finally, Friday will be dedicated to the showroom itself, where we will have a virtual tour, and we will also show some videos of the construction process and some other material. If you want to check the full schedule, please go to our website. You have all the information there. And now I'm going to start with why we're here today, which is the Polish Marble Collection. Again, my name is Ramón, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. At the end of the presentation, I will try to answer as many as possible. So, for the next half an hour, we're going to see this collection, and we're going to divide it into different parts. First, we will talk about the sizes of the collection and why we decided to make those sizes. Then we will talk about each of the designs in the collection. After, we will see some of the variations, so you can see some panels where the tiles are installed. And after that, we will move to see some of the settings and explain some of the technical advantages, to finally end with an explanation about the promotional tools that we have for this collection in case you are a professional. Okay, so without further delay, let's start. We have the sizes here on the floor. As you can see, we have decided to produce this collection in three sizes. These are 80 by 180, 60 by 120, and 120 by 120 centimeters. In inches, that's 24 by 48, 48 by 48, and 32 by 70 inches. There is a very simple reason why we have decided to produce in these sizes. Is basically because they are the biggest sizes that we currently produce in Vives. And marble traditionally consists of big planks that minimize the number of joints, the number of grouting, and give continuity to the space once installed. So this is the reason why we decided to use these sizes. From now on, we will see different sizes, but whenever you see one tile, remember it's available, all of them, in all of these three sizes, okay? And now let's start talking about the designs. We have 8 designs. Okay, and we have tried to make a balance between modernity, tradition, and more strong, impactful designs, and some more simple, smoother designs. We're going to see one by one all of them. So this is the first one. This is called Arue, and it comes originally from a marble called Breccia Capraia, which is from the Apuan Alps in Tuscany, in the Carrara area. And the original marble was already popular in the Roman times due to its rarity, and then also it was used by the Medici family in Florence to decorate different spaces in that city. One of the advantages of tiles is that we can modify the design to our will. So this one, compared to the original marble, is different in that we have removed all the pink and purple tones that the original marble has, in order to keep only the gray veining and make it more versatile, not only for commercial projects, but also accessible to residential projects. So this is our first marble. Now we move here, we have our second design. Our second design is called Kiruna, and this is a Kalakata Macchia Vecchia, which is also a marble from the Apuan Alps in Tuscany, from the same region as the one before, and it was discovered in the end of the 17th century. However, it was difficult to extract because the mountain is difficult to access, so it didn't become popular, the original marble, until the mid-20th century when the technology to extract it properly was developed. Since then, it has become popular, and now we have decided to incorporate it to our collection. What we have changed in regards with the original marble is we have removed some of the impurities that this marble has, and we have given prominence to the golden tones that you can see at the top of the piece, mainly. We will see after some of the variation here. So by doing this, we have made it more smooth and give some continuity once it's installed, removing all these impurities. Okay, so these are the first two, and now we come to the third one, which is completely opposite from the other two marbles. This one is a very classic marble. It comes originally from a Botticino Classico, which is also an Italian marble, this time a little bit up northern from the Brescia region. And this marble is formed when carbonate sediments were deposited in an interior sea that used to be there before this region of Italy was formed. As you can see, it's a light color marble with cream tones and some brownish tones. In this piece, you cannot see, we will see it after when we go to the variation, but what we have done is make it smoother by cleaning most of these brown spots. We have left some of these brown veins to keep the essence of the original marble, but mainly you can see a smooth, continuous cream polished marble. And now, our fourth marble here. This one is the first non-Italian marble. This one is Brazilian. It's Solden, and the original marble is called Jolly Grey. In comparison with all the other 7 marbles, this is the only one that we haven't modified the design. However, in nature, generally it's a darker gray, the real marble. In this case, our design team has looked for one that was a little bit lighter in order to give more luminosity and space to the spaces where it's installed. You can see it's a gray marble with lighter veins and some subtle ochre tones in some of the parts of the marble. And now we saw the first 4, and we're going to go to the second wall where we have the other 4. First, here on top, we have our most complex marble. This is called Verano. It's our second marble from Brazil, and the original marble is called Cielo Quartzite. As you can see, it's a very complex with many layers and many different tonalities. The original marble goes from bluish to golden brownish, and in this case, we have taken out all the bluish and kept only the golden brownish tones. Why is this? Again, for the same reason, to make it more versatile, to make it more continuous and homogeneous once installed, and to allow it to fit not only into commercial projects, but also into residential projects. In this case, this marble has a lot of character, a lot of presence, so combined with minimalistic furniture or simple decoration, it becomes very effective and nice and impactful for the rooms. So we move to our 6th marble now. This one comes from Pakistan originally, and it's a white onyx from the region of Baluchistan. It was formed back in the day when calcium carbonate deposits were deposited into the limestone cavities in the ground. Currently in the market, there is 2 ways of finding this marble. There is one, which is the transversal way. We would see these layers that you can see here, but we would see them in circular shape. Or we have the other type of cut, which is the one that we chose, which is the perpendicular cut. In this case, we can clearly see every one of the layers, and as you can see them here. We have changed this marble compared to the original one in 2 ways. We have enlarged the image to give prominence to its layers so you can appreciate them better, and on the other hand, we have changed the color to become more neutral, because originally the marble has more golden and brownish tones than you can see in this piece. Again, the idea is the same, to give continuity and to make it homogeneous all the way through. And finally, we go to the last 2 designs. You can see them down here. Like every marble collection has to have some classic Kalakata, and we have 2 of them. The first one here is the classic Kalakata from Italy, from the Carrara area. It's the most known marble in the world. As you can see, it's a white background with gray veining. In this case, the veins tend to be quite strong in color, but thinner than in the other Kalakata that we will see in a minute. And also, the veins are only gray or within the gray range color. We don't have browns or ochres. Okay, and the last point about this marble is that the veins go in different directions compared to this one here, which is called a Kalakata Lincoln. Okay, the Kalakata Lincoln is American, it's an American marble from the region of Colorado. It was discovered in the beginning of the 20th century, and it receives its name because of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. So the Lincoln Memorial in the city was built using this marble. The differences with the other one is that in this case you can see some subtle ochre tones. I don't know if in the video you are able to see them well, but there is some subtle ochre tones, whereas the other one is only gray in the veins. The veins in this case are a little bit thicker, and also they tend to go always in the same direction. Not in every piece, but mostly they do. Okay, so now we have seen all the designs. We have seen that we have a good blend between smooth, modern, traditional, and impactful designs. Of course, all these marbles are good to use on their own. We will see some settings later where we are only using the marble. But on this wall here, we wanted to give you some ideas on how to combine, some modern, interesting ideas on how to combine the marbles. So on this side, we have two mood boards. On top here, we can see how we are combining the Arue polished marble with Lapato terrazzo tile, using some white and blue decorative tiles, and it makes for a very young and very modern and contemporary mood board, an idea for a space. And on the bottom here is basically we are trying to go for the same. We are trying to find young, modern spaces, and we are mixing the gray marble with some whites and with some decoration that combines both gray and white to give this contrast and this young look to the mood board. And on this side here, we have proposed a couple more combinations just to give you some ideas. This, we think it as the contrast combination because there is a triple contrast in these two tiles. The first one is between the colors. You can see the light color contrasting with the dark color cement. The second one is tradition versus modernity. You can see the most traditional Kalakata marble compared to this modern twist that we have given to a cement, and it's in a herringbone shape. And finally, the third of the contrast is the glossy polish finish versus the matte finish. So for people like me personally who like contrast, I think it's a very interesting, also modern combination. And for those of you who don't like modern so much and are looking for something more traditional, or even looking for warm colors, we have this last combination which combines both things. It's warm colors because we're mixing our cream polished marble with our new, one of our new ceramic wood collections that we will be extending on tomorrow. But you can see that this is very traditional wood and cream marble. Also, it gives us some more warmth to the space as we install it. But these are just some ideas that we wanted to propose. You are free to combine, to mix with many things. Nowadays, everything becomes a trend real fast, so you are free to mix and match until you find something that you like with our marbles. And now, we are going to move on to this panel area where we are going to see some of the variation. For us, it's very important to compare our marble with the real marble and to even improve it. So in this case, one advantage that the real marble has is that the real marble, every piece is different. Since it comes from nature, every piece is completely different. In this case, our design team puts a lot of effort so that even if we have a limited number of faces that we can have, we have as much as possible so that there is no signs of repetition whatsoever whenever you see the piece. I will put an example at the end of this corridor, but for now we are just going to look a little bit at the variation of the different marbles. You can see the Kiruna, the Kalakata Macchia Vecchia. On this side, you can see the two pieces are different, and you can see the golden, how we give prominence to the golden tones to make it elegant and luxurious, okay? And the second one here is the Donne. This is the Italian Kalakata. You can see the veins are gray. There is no brown in these veins. You can see they go in different directions. And again, you can see the variation between pieces. Moving along on the corridor, of course, there is more panels behind, but we don't have time today to see everything. But I'm going to show you the main ones here. So we have the Solden. The solden is the gray one. Again, this one is smoother than the ones we saw before, so it's harder to see the difference, but clearly every piece is different and still giving this effect of continuity that we are looking for. The same happens with the cream polished marble, which I'm going to make a brief stop here because before I explained you that we removed most of the impurities, most of the brown dots, but we wanted to keep some to keep the essence of the marble, and here is a clear example of this. We have this brown vein with this brown dot going through the piece, and it's very subtle, but it gives some character to the marble while keeping it smooth and clean. Okay? We keep going, we have some of the arue. Again, a lot of variation, very clear here. You can see, for example, this piece is very clean, it's quite white with some veining, but if you compare it to this one is much stronger, and it's a contrast that we think is interesting and that it makes, it gives more character to spaces. And again, the same idea with the white onyx. You can perfectly, on the top piece, you can see the layers perfectly, how each layer shows on the piece. The difference of color, I didn't mention it before, but the difference of color between layers is because of the impurities on the depositions that happen through the years. So each layer, that's why it has a different color. And the last two are first the Verbier, is the other Kalakata. In this case, you can see more, especially in this piece here, you can see that there is some ochre brownish tones. You can see the veins are slightly thicker, and you can see that mostly they go in the same direction. There are some veins going in different directions, but mostly they go in an upwards and right direction. Okay, and the last part of this area, I want to show you the Aruen 120-120 because it is a good example to understand how important it is the variation to us. In this case, we have here 3 pieces on 120-120, but it's worth mentioning that to produce this size in particular, we have a big picture of 6 meters by 7.5 meters of this design. And then the printing machine randomly selects a 120 by 120 piece out of this big picture. So you can get an idea with these numbers of how many different pieces you can have and how you can completely avoid repetition. Okay, so now we're going to move along. Okay, if you follow me, we're going to check some of the settings and explain some of the technical properties of the marble. It is a good idea as we walk that you can take an overview of our showroom. As we said, we just finished it this year. It is a 3,000 square meter showroom. That's about 32,000 square feet. And the idea on the showroom was to take the most out of every space. So not only we have thought on the regular settings, but also we have thought on our own workspaces, like our office, our meeting room, our presentation room, to be also settings so that the visitors can check all the 3,000 square meters and can get ideas from all of them. So I think it's pretty interesting. Remember, on Friday, we will do the virtual tour of the showroom. Okay, now we're here. Let's make a brief stop on this area because maybe some of you are wondering, okay, so these marbles, I like them, but what if I want them in matte finish? Okay, this collection is purely a polished collection. We have a different collection, which is a matte collection, and which is here. And I'm going to show you what we have for this collection briefly. So we have 3 designs. 2 of them are the same as the polish. This is the Verbier, this is the American Kalakata, and this is the golden Macchia Vecchia from Italy, okay? And then we have another design that it's only exclusive for matte, that is the black marble with light veins, okay? This is a good example to see the variation also because we have installed all this wall, and as you can see on a quick glance, there is no signs of repetition, although there might be some pieces that are repeated when you turn, when you do. There is a lot of different pieces to make it resemble to real marble, okay? So this was just a quick mention to the matte marbles, and we're going to move along to this ale, which is our main setting ale, and we will be seeing what settings we have for the marble and explaining some of the technical advantages of our time. Okay, so first we get to this setting. This setting, we are using again the golden marble. In this case, it's the matte finish, but remember you also have it in polish. But you can see that combining this marble with the golden trims, also using golden decoration, it makes for a very classic, traditional, elegant, and sophisticated setting that maybe is not for everyone, but it's just an idea of what you can do with our products, okay? So we're going to keep moving from here. And as we walk, let me briefly mention the three main advantages of tiles versus real marble. So the first one, we already talked about it before, which is that we can modify the designs to our will because it's a computer image, so we can modify to fit our needs. The second advantage is that the cost of real marble is much higher since it's a natural product that needs to be extracted from the mountain. So also the tile, the polished tile, can fit more budgets than the real marble can. And finally, the third advantage is the maintenance. The real marble, you need to seal it, it's much easier to damage, and the tile is traditionally one of the easiest building materials to maintain, okay? And as I'm saying this, we have got to this area, which is our main polished marble setting. On this side, you can see the Arue in 80 by 180. You can also see the variation and the effect it has. We have contrasted it with the black furniture, and also we have made the contrast on this side with the solden gray marble, which is much smoother, and it gives a nice contrast of color and of intensity of the design. Okay, and I'm going to make a stop here because now I'm going to talk about how we can differentiate our marble from our competitors. What we think that makes our marble better than those of our competitors. Okay, the secret is this little glass I have here, and this dust that you see here is called glossy ceramic grit, so that we all understand each other. This is kind of a crystal glaze that we put on top of the design before we polish. So what does this do? This has a triple advantage on the tile. The first one is that by adding the amount, excuse me, I forgot to mention, what we do is that we add more than most competitors out there. So we are using 1.5 kilograms of this glaze per square meter, okay? So by having this big amount of this glaze, there's three advantages. The first one in the polishing. So what the polishing process does is there's brushes that remove material to bring out the brightness out of the tile. By having more amount of this glaze, what we achieve is that we can have a slower and longer process of polishing. This means that there is more brightness that we can bring out of the tile. You can see the reflection in all the walls, how the intensity of the reflection is quite strong. So this is the first advantage of using the big amounts of this grit. The second advantage also comes from the slow polishing process, which is the planarity. By having this slow process, taking good time to polish, we avoid most of these waves that you often can see in the market, and our product is quite smooth and quite straight at the end of the process. And the third advantage of this granilla comes in the kiln, in the firing process, okay? So in the firing process, what happens by having more grit than other competitors, we can afford to fire it at higher temperatures and also to spend more time in the kiln. This allows the glaze to compact better and avoid to have any open pores in the piece, okay? So it will be very compact and it will be very hard for the dirt to penetrate the tile. We have prepared here some live tests, okay, to show you this point. We have different products that you can find at homes regularly around the world, and we're going to try to clean them now. These products have been sitting here for about 24 hours, okay, which is more than enough time for these products to penetrate the tile if the glaze is not compact enough. Okay, so the first one here, we have a soft drink. Okay, you can see it's dry. We have a soft drink, very popular around the world. And I'm just going to clean it really fast, just some water. It's a little bit sticky. So this is not to show that it's easy to clean, which it is. It's just to show that even after 24 hours, the tile remains perfectly clean and there is no trace of the dirt that has penetrated the tile. The second example here, it's one of the most dirty ones, we can say, one of the most aggressive because it's tomato sauce, it's greasy, it's strong, it gets stuck to the piece. In this case, I'm gonna have to take a bit longer to clean it, but you will see that with a little bit of cleaning the tile. Okay, I'm gonna use another one. Okay, so after 24 hours, it's got well stuck in the piece, but nothing that we can't remove in less than a minute. Now we use the cloth and you can see that it hasn't left any trace. The juice hasn't penetrated, and it would be very easy to see in this case because it's orange. So if it had left any mark, we would be able to see it. Okay, number 3, here it's olive oil, very popular, at least in the Mediterranean area and some other countries in the world. And again, we are going to clean it very easy, just some paper to absorb. And then just remove the remaining. And again, the oil also didn't penetrate the tile, okay? We move on to the next example here. Is the last food example, we can say. This is a coffee, also a global drink everywhere. And again, we just put some water and clean it. Okay. And this has been sitting here for 24 hours. And you can see, again, that there is no trace of the coffee on the piece. Okay, and finally, the last example is a little bit different. It's not so common to drop this on the floor, but we have selected this item because it's something very aggressive and it really penetrates the tile. If there is open pores, it would penetrate the tile, which is a permanent marker. Okay? In this case, we have to use alcohol because with water it won't go, and we just put some alcohol on it, and we're going to use some cotton to clean it out, and then we will finish by wiping it with a cloth. Okay, use a little bit more alcohol. Okay. And again, you can see that the tile is perfectly clean. There is no mark. It hasn't penetrated the tile. So this is a good example of why using grit is an advantage technically to the ceramics, using a large amount of grit. So it's 3 advantages. One was the brightness, the planarity, and the impermeability of the piece. If you do the same experiment, waiting 24 hours with all these products, with a tile that doesn't use this crystal glaze before polishing, or has only a little of it, it will have open pores. This dirt will have penetrated the tile, and if you don't see the dirt on time, and it goes past 24 hours or past some hours, even if you try to clean it, will leave a trace, which will be impossible to remove. The only way to remove it would be to uninstall the piece, and we know that with tiles this is a big mess, even impossible depending where the piece is located. So we think this is a big advantage of using this thick layer of crystal glaze. Okay, so now we are done with the technical part, and I don't want to extend myself a lot, so we're going to go to the last part, which is the promotional tools of the collection. So it's true that this part is more dedicated to professionals, but I think it's interesting for everybody to know how we work in Vives and what we think when we want to promote a collection. Okay? We're going to divide this part in 2. First, we're going to talk about the small promotional tools that you can carry around, maybe to visit designers, to visit architects, to visit customers. So it's something small that it's easy to carry around and still shows a lot of information on the collection. The first example is here, is our Marblelous folder. This is a folder specifically created for this collection, and it contains all the information. It contains all the technical information on the collection. It shows the variation of some of the pieces. Then it also has settings of the different tiles in the collection, and finally it has a small cut sample of each of the 8 designs of the collection. So it's a very complete folder, and we recommend it if you want to work the collection for your projects, for your yeah. And so it is the first one. But what happens if you say, okay, maybe you have a specific project that already only you are thinking about using 2 of them and you don't need the rest, but you would like to still show these 2 designs within the collection. Okay, we have specific architectural folders which can be tailored to your needs. So in this case, in this one, we have prepared, let's imagine we have a project where we want to show the Kiruna and the bucket. So the golden marble and the cream marble. We can prepare a folder specifically with these 2 designs. You can see a little bit more than in the other folder, and also we can have a sticker on the back to show some technical information about the collection and maybe a photo of the rest of the design. So this is still something very complete. And going together with this, another option, if you need more pieces, you have an idea for a project where you need several pieces that are from different collections and you want to combine them, we have this is called an architectural box. So this architectural box has 12 slots that fit 10 by 10 pieces. So you can mix and match even not even tile. If you are combining with different building materials, you can also have them here and have your project within a small box. In this case, for example, we are combining here, we have all the polished tiles that we are talking about, and then we also brought the matte finish marble, so you have both collections in this box. So it's also interesting for projects where you have more items. And this is for the small tools. Now we also have big tools for those who have a shop, who have some space to show the tile better, because at the end of the day, it's better to see a full piece than to see a small cut piece. So for that, we have different tools. The first one is this one, which is one of the most interesting ones. This one holds 10 pieces of 120 by 120. Okay. The interesting thing about this stand is that not only it comes out, okay, but you can also turn it around and look at the tile horizontally. It is very important because sometimes the tiles, when they are in the wall, they look different from when they are in the floor because of the shadows, the light, different circumstances. So it's very interesting to have it flat. These pieces are big and they are very heavy, so the only effective way to show them horizontally is with a stand like this. Of course, you have both sides, very easy to work, and you can just show all your pieces. We have found, at least in the markets that I currently take care of, we have found that the people who have included this in their shops, they have had more success than those who haven't, so we think it's at least me personally, I think it's a very interesting tool for promotion, okay? But what happens if you say, no, this is too big, it takes up too much space, I don't have this space in my showroom? Okay, we have another options. This is one of the most interesting options because it doesn't take up any vertical space. It only takes space on the floor. And what it is, it's a cardboard surface, which is underneath the tile. Then we place the tile on top, and we frame it with this metallic frame that is tailored to the size that you need. In this case, we're showing a 120 by 120, but we could be showing 4 pieces of 60 by 60, 180 by 180. It depends on what you need. We can make it happen for you. And the good thing about this is that it's very easy to change, to install, to remove. So if you have the collection for some years, then it stops working, you can change it for a different tile. It's very easy, very convenient, and very cheap to maintain, okay? And finally, as big options, we have this stand, which is specific for the 80-180. This shows full-size 80 by 180 pieces. Personally, I don't recommend this stand unless you are interested only in this size in particular, because in this case, they also come out, but you cannot put them horizontally. So if you're interested in the full collection, all 3 sizes, it's better to use the 120-120 reverse stand that we saw that you could turn. This one, it's nice, but it doesn't turn, so you're only going to have the vertical view of the piece. But still, if you're interested on this size, or you have a space for one of these, I think it's a good tool to see the full design of the marble, okay? And finally, of course, we have the classic promotional tool that has been used for many years, all over the world, which are the panels, okay? In this case, these ones are big from our new showroom, but we can make them in the different sizes to fit your showroom. We have two types of panels. We have the technical panels. As you can see, they come with a setting, they come with some information, in this case the sizes, and they come with a little cut piece of each of the items in the collection. And also, we have the tiled panels, which in this case, you can see the design, you can see the variation. Personally, I think these are more interesting, but you can always use a combination. You can always present the collection with a technical panel and have several tile panels of your choice to show the collection, okay? And, well, I think that's all from me. I just want to thank you for your time. I hope this presentation gave you a better idea of all the design, all that's behind the design and the quality of the tile. And just before we leave, we have some questions here already that you have been asking during the presentation, so I'm going to read them here. My colleague is handing me a screen. Okay. Someone is asking if Marblelous is available in 80 by 80. The answer is no, it's not available currently in the catalog. It's only in the 3 sizes that we have discussed. However, if you have a large project, you can always inquire us, because we can do, maybe, depending on the quantities, depending on the circumstances, we can consider making a special production for that project in the 80 by 80. Okay, the next question. Okay, the next question is in Spanish, and it's someone asking us where we can visit the showroom. Okay, we are located in Alcora, in the Castellón region. This is near Valencia in Spain. This is just next to the factory, and of course you are welcome to visit when this we have taken the measures adequate to the pandemic. Of course, we have everything ready to receive visitors now, but if you can't now because of the situation, we wait for you whenever it's possible. Okay, someone is asking, how much does a 120 by 120 tile weight? Okay, these tiles are about 36.5 kilos each. So this is why I was explaining before that it's interesting to have this tool where you can turn them in an easy way, because otherwise 36.5 kilos, if you have to do it every day, put them on the floor, maybe you need 2 people, maybe you have back issues after some time, so it's very interesting to use the stand because of the heavy weight of this material. Okay. Someone is asking if the material can be scratched less than a real marble. It is true, real marble is always going to be more delicate than ceramic tile. Also real marble, you need to seal it, otherwise it's going to get damaged. But it is also important to mention that this is polished tile, and polished tile is always delicate. So if you are not careful, it will scratch, but with the adequate maintenance, it will last for a very, very, very long time, and you won't need to worry because it's a very resistant material like any other tile. Okay? Okay, those were the questions. Well, thank you very much again. I hope it was interesting, and remember to stay tuned for the rest of the week because there's a lot more presentations and a lot more material to come. So thank you very much for your time, and see you next time.